Hi there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Laura. Today we are talking about compounding pharmacies and what they are and what they do. We are also shedding light on the fact that the hormone therapy cream called Oestra is made at a US-based compounding pharmacy in Missouri. Before I purchased Oestra, I had never even heard of compounding pharmacies, but then I did start using it and I learned that it was made at a facility called the compounding pharmacy, and I wanted to know more because I am putting this into my body and I wanted reassurance that it is in fact safe for me to use. If you are watching this video, you've probably been introduced to some measure of the anguish that the menopause transition can be, and you too are learning as much as you can about your options and the safety of them. So let's get into it. The following is not an exhaustive explanation of compounding pharmacies, but I will provide information from the Food and Drug Administration which pertains to use of a compounded hormone therapy like Oestra, and which I thought that you'd like to know too. What is a compounding pharmacy? A compounding pharmacy prepares custom medications by mixing, combining, or altering raw ingredients to fit a specific patient's needs. Unlike standard retail pharmacies that dispense mass-produced, factory-made drugs, compounding pharmacies create unique dosages and change forms of a medication. For example, they remove unwanted dyes, preservatives, or fillers that cause bad reactions for some people. They provide alternative delivery systems like changing hard-to-swallow pills into liquids, topical creams, or suppositories. They make custom dosages, making specific low or high strengths not sold by standard manufacturers, often for infants or pets. If there is a drug shortage, they can often recreate vital medications that are currently unavailable or back ordered. In general, a standard pharmacy dispenses finished drugs that pass full federal clinical trials and receive direct FDA approval for safety and efficacy. Compounding pharmacies dispense custom mixtures that are not individually FDA approved, although, and this is important, the raw active ingredients must come from regulated sources. Here are some common questions concerning compounding pharmacies from the FDA website. Does the FDA have authority over telehealth companies promoting compounded drugs? Under federal law, prescription drug promotion disseminated by or on behalf of drug manufacturers, including compounders, must be truthful, non-misleading, and accurate. If the FDA has concerns that promotional materials are false or misleading, the FDA may seek voluntary compliance from the manufacturer, packer, or distributor responsible for the promotional material. The Food and Drug Administration takes this responsibility seriously and continues to monitor promotional materials regarding prescription drugs, including compounded drugs. Incidentally, since menopause is having a surge in awareness right now, it's important to know that telehealth companies that focus on menopause care are becoming more and more popular, and they include companies like Inner Balance, MIDI Health, Alloy, Winona, Mochi, Hone Health, Hers, Nurx, Gala Health, and Effecti. All of these telehealth companies are also those named as the Forbes Health Top 10 Hormone Therapy Telehealth Companies. And a general search indicates that of these 10, Winona, Inner Balance, and Telehealth offer compounded treatments. So, why does Inner Balance use a compounding pharmacy to make Oestra? Inner Balance uses a compounding pharmacy to make Oestra because this product is a custom all-in-one combination of multiple bioidentical hormones, estradiol and micronized progesterone, into a single cream. So, a compounding pharmacy is required to mix the customized prescription. According to Inner Balance's website and their frequently asked questions, Oestra contains hormones that are derived from plant sources that the brand describes as structurally identical to those that the body produces naturally, popularly known as bioidentical. And it is very important to note and to know that the term bioidentical is in fact a marketing term rather than a regulatory or medical classification. See, I didn't know that, but now we know. In the frequently asked questions section of the Inner Balance website, one question asks, is Oestra safe to use? Yes, Oestra contains estradiol and progesterone, bioidentical hormones that are FDA approved for use in treating hormone deficiency. Is Oestra third-party tested? Oestra is made by a 503A FDA-regulated compounding pharmacy that is inspected by the FDA, the DEA, and state licensing boards. Every prescription batch undergoes rigorous potency, purity, and safety checks before it is delivered. What is the difference between a 503A and 503B regulated pharmacy? 503A pharmacies focus on personalized, small-scale patient needs, such as unique suspensions or removing an allergen. They are overseen primarily by state boards of pharmacy. 503B facilities are required to perform extensive batch release pre-testing for sterility and potency, pay annual FDA user fees, and report adverse events directly to the federal agency. They are also regulated directly by the FDA, and they are subject to federal current good manufacturing practices guidelines, which require rigorous validation of every process, facility, utility, and equipment piece. In light of this information, it begs the question, are compounding pharmacies safe after all? In regards to Oestra, the Inner Balance website answers yes, when they are held to the highest regulatory standards as ours is. Our partner pharmacy is legal script certified, meaning it meets stringent quality and safety criteria. Now, when I, as a customer of Inner Balance, saw that and read that, of course, I asked myself, what does legit script certification mean? Well, a compounding pharmacy with LSC legit script certification means that an independent organization has verified that the pharmacy operates legally, holds valid state licenses, follows safe digital practices, and complies with healthcare advertising regulations. Also, major tech and payment platforms like Google, Meta, Visa, and MasterCard require this certification to allow online ads and credit card processing. In addition, it's really important to note that this LS certification evaluates operational and legal compliance, but not the safety, efficacy, or specific quality of individual compounded medications. Because, as we learned, that falls under the authority of the FDA and state regulated agencies. What are the risks associated with compounded drugs? According to the FDA, compounded drugs can serve an important medical need for patients. However, if a compounded drug does not meet appropriate quality standards, such as if a drug is contaminated or contains too much of an active ingredient, it could cause serious injury or death. Additionally, the labels on compounded drugs may not include important information such as adequate directions to help ensure the drugs are used safely. Are you still with me? I hope you are. There's a lot of information. But just from this preliminary body of information, it's clear that there are important differences between standard pharmacies and compounding pharmacies. There are many compounding pharmacies that are doing a very good and important job in the U.S. of providing treatments and medications that are not mass-produced or readily available to the patients who need them. And they are subject to federal regulations to ensure safety and proper practice. All things considered, this is why the Food and Drug Administration encourages all consumers to remain vigilant in the use of their medicinal treatments. Understand the risks of buying prescription medicine from online pharmacies or telehealth platforms, and highly recommends consumers to always talk to a healthcare provider about questions related to any prescription drugs. When I first ordered Oestra, I naturally assumed that it was FDA approved. But as I looked into the compounding pharmacies and this information that we just went over and other information, then I learned that the finished product known as Oestra itself lacks FDA approval because it is a custom formulation made in a compounding pharmacy. And this specific formulation is not available through any standard pharmacy. However, and this is the key that we have learned from what we read today, the active ingredients and the components inside of it, namely estradiol and progesterone, are absolutely individually FDA approved and registered for hormone therapy. For myself, after careful consideration, I bought Oestra and I have been very satisfied with it. I am also comfortable with the source that makes it and the explanation as to why it is made this way. In all, as with all prescriptions, it is important to get them from a licensed clinician and federally and state approved source after assessing the risks versus the benefits for an individual. Finally, when it comes to hormone therapy, each woman will make her own decision about using it or not, as well as deciding which approved source to get it from. I hope this information has been insightful and will help equip you to make informed decisions for your menopausal health and success. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and until then, bye-bye.